Today on the Daily Dose, the presidency of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Born into a prominent family in Hyde Park, New York, including his fifth cousin and 26th American president, Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was educated in such prestigious institutions as the Groton School, Harvard College, and Columbia Law School. After practicing law for several years, FDR entered politics at the state level, including one federal post as Assistant Secretary of the Navy under President Woodrow Wilson. In the 1932 presidential election, Roosevelt defeated Republican incumbent Herbert Hoover in a landslide victory, kicking off the only four-term presidency in American history. Considered one of the most influential figures in world events during the first half of the 20th century, FDR would lead the nation through the Great Depression during his first two terms in office, followed by World War II in his third and ultimately truncated fourth terms as president. During the Great Depression, FDR built his New Deal coalition, which would define modern liberalism in the U.S. throughout the middle third of the 20th century. During the first 100 days of Roosevelt's first term in office, FDR moved decisively to end prohibition by amendment to the U.S. Constitution, followed by a slew of legislative initiatives focused on stimulating a collapsed American economy. Along with the passage of 12 major laws, almost every American found something to be pleased about and something to complain about in FDR's robust collection of bills, but it was clear to all that FDR was engaging in the sort of direct and vigorous action he had promised in his inaugural address.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Stricken by polio in 1921, few Americans knew that FDR was bound to a wheelchair, which in the days before television was something a public leader could still keep from the limelight. He used radio to speak directly to the American people, giving 30 fireside chat addresses during his long reign as president.
This nation will remain a neutral nation, but I cannot ask that every American remain neutral in thought as well.
After Japan's unprovoked attack on Pearl Harbor, FDR would lead the nation through yet another turbulent passage in American history, providing reassurance and resolve to a nation's laser-like determination to eradicate totalitarian aggression.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Not 3 months into his fourth term in office, the weight of his leadership role in World War II saw a drastic decline in FDR's health. On April 12, 1945, some 5 weeks before Victory Day in Europe, FDR passed away from a massive cerebral hemorrhage at his Little White House retreat in Warm Springs, Georgia, not 3 months into his fourth term in office, bringing to an end one of the most revered presidents in American history. Today, FDR's surviving programs and legislation include the Securities and Exchange Commission, the National Labor Relations Act, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, Social Security, and the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. And there you have it, the life and presidency of Franklin D. Roosevelt, today on the Daily Dose. If you like learning something new every day, subscribe to the Daily Dose on YouTube or sign up for emails at dailydosenow.com.